Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm MoxieInfernape, and this is the video explaining the rules for the draft for Season 3 of the MPL. So I wanted to explain these rules here in a video so people can understand them. Everyone, involved in the league, everyone's going to watch it, all these coaches, all these people. So I just want to make sure everyone understands the rules, so I am explaining in a video. Like there's the rules in text here, but I want to make sure everyone really understands them. So I'm just going through and I'm going to explain them. Sorry if I sound like I'm really rushed or I'm going really fast. Sorry, I tried this multiple times. I'm making this video. I didn't like how I did it earlier, so I'm just trying to do it again. Trying to make it as best quality as I can. Sorry if that was kind of rushed. I just wanted to get through that. But this season we're doing something new. So we have tiers that are based off, or we have points rather that are based off tiers. So these tiers are not like the Smogon tiers. They're not that. They're based off how good a Pokemon is in league formats. The Pokemon that are best, like Mew, Manaphy, Pokemon like that, they're in Tier 1 because they're the best, so they cost the most points. Tier 2, not quite as good, so they cost a little less, and then, etc. So you can see these rules here. So each team must have 8 to 12 Pokemon. We want 8 because that's more than 6, because we want you to have options of who you bring each week. Then we want a maximum of 12, or just a maximum in general, so you can't just get a bunch of lower tier Pokemon. So you could just get like a huge amount of Pokemon on your team. No, we want to limit you. Because if you got, you could get like 10 Tier 6 Pokemon, and then you could also get other free Pokemon, which I'll explain in a bit. So then you could have more than 12 Pokemon on our team. So we just want to limit that, that's why we have the maximum there. So each team must have 1 Mega, no more, no less, so you can't have multiple Megas. You can't have no Mega, you have to get a Mega. There's a Mega round, I'll explain that. There's a Mega round in the draft, so there's a round where you have to draft your Mega, I'll explain that in a bit. Each team gets 500 points to spend, so on their 8 to 12 Pokemon. So, well, okay, I'm gonna hop ahead. Here, so each team, so this rule is saying you can't go over 500, cannot exceed. So you can go less. You can end with like sending 480 or 490 or something like that, but or 500 exactly, but you can't go over 500. So this rule is important. I want to go to this now. So you must get one Pokemon from Tier 1, one from Tier 2, one from Tier 3, each. And that is because that way, if you're not really thinking ahead about your draft and you're not thinking about it, and now I doubt you would be able to get 5 Tier 1s, but let's just say you do, then you'd be spending all your points there. But with that rule there, that means, so with these 3, then with your Mega, that's 4 Pokemon, then you could spend the rest of your points on 5 Tier 1s. So that would be 9 Pokemon, so then you'd be over that minimum there. So that's why we have this rule, just for people that maybe aren't thinking as much in their draft, aren't thinking ahead in terms of points. Now I doubt you would be able to get 5 Tier 1s anyways, but still, you get the point. This is to help people kind of guide their draft, I guess, and just make it a little easier for them to think about points and budgeting and stuff. That's why I have this rule here. So in franchising, I'll explain that in a bit. It's franchising again. So, so if you have less than 12 Pokemon, okay, so actually, okay, I'm gonna go to the draft page now. Sorry, I'm kind of might sound a little flustered, or just I'm not exactly certain how I want to make this video. Sorry, I'm going to try to explain that as best as I can. So, the first round here in the draft, you have to draft your Tier 1, second round Tier 2, third round Tier 3, and then fourth round you get your Mega. Now we were doing that so that, it's guaranteed that everyone gets their Tier 1, their Tier 2, Tier 3, and their Mega. Just to make it simpler, just to make it easier. This does limit franchising. I'll explain that in a bit once I explain what franchising is if you don't know already. But this does help really just clarify things and make it easier for, so people, they have to get their Tier 1, their Tier 2 and stuff at some point, and there is a definitive round for when you have to get them. So like me, so I have the 5th round first pick, so with this first pick, I have to get my Tier 1 Pokemon. So, that's why we're doing that. And then, from the 5th round and on, you can get whatever Pokemon from whatever tier you want. You just have to make sure about points. You have to watch out for that, because you might not want to go over 500, because you might want to get more Pokemon. So if you do have less than 12 Pokemon and you can't get any more Pokemon, so like let's say you have drafted 10 Pokemon so far and you're at 490 points, well, there's no Pokemon that is 10 points or less, so you can't, well, except for Mega, but you draft that at a certain point. So at that point, then you can't draft any more Pokemon, so then your turn in the draft would just be skipped. That way, other people that still have points left, they can spend it and get potentially like an 11th or 12th Pokemon if they have the points. So you gotta just budget, gotta watch out for the future. So you might not So maybe there's a tier 2 Pokemon available, but if you want to watch out for points and want to get like a lot of Pokemon, you might not want to do that. So you might want to budget, might want to get like some more like tier 4, tier 5 Pokemon. I'll scroll over to the Megas for a second. I'll explain how the Megas work. So if you want to get a top tier Mega, so there's 3 tiers for Megas. Top tier, they cost 0, they're free. Now these Pokemon, you have to get them, so that's why they're free. That's like just like the first 3 Pokemon of the draft, they're free because you have to get them just to make things simpler. But if you want to get a little like worse of a Mega, they can be they're tier 2, so they're negative points. So if you draft it, then your point total actually goes up by 30, or like the amount of points you currently have spent goes down by 30, whichever way you want to look at it. Then you could get an even quote-unquote worse Mega in tier 3, and that's negative 60 points. So that just allows you to get more points and allows you to get more Pokemon. So that's cool if you want to do that, but you could just get a better Mega and not kind of sacrifice your Mega like that. Now, I mean, you still can use the lower tier Megas, but you don't. But if you do get a lower tier Mega, you get points. So that's why that makes like lower tier Megas more viable and gives you another reason to get them. So that's why I like having this point system, because it allows you to get more Pokemon that really aren't used as much. It gives you another reason to get them. So I think I've explained everything except for franchising. Hopefully you understand what the points and how they work. So first round tier 1, second round tier 2, third round tier 3, fourth round Mega, and all the other rounds you can draft any Pokemon from any tier you want, as long as they're still available, and as long as you still have enough points for them. So franchising. So you can franchise Pokemon that was on your team last season. So last season, for example, I had Weavile. Now I don't think I will be franchising Weavile, but I'm the only one that can franchise him because I had him on my team last season. So for example, like Dench, I'm pretty sure he's gonna franchise his Mew. So what franchising is, I'll explain that. I realized I didn't really do that yet. But what it is, it's essentially calling dibs on a Pokemon like prior to the draft. So as you can see here, within 24 hours before the start of the draft. So it's essentially like calling dibs. So like, alright, I want to make sure I get this Pokemon. No one else can like steal your franchise. So you don't have to like worry about getting sniped with your franchise. But like once the draft starts, then you could get sniped. So that's why like teams, coaches want to make sure they get a Pokemon so they can franchise it. But there is a disadvantage in that. If you franchise a tier 1 Pokemon, it costs 50 points. If you franchise tier 2 or tier 3, it costs 40 points. And you can't franchise any Pokemon in tier 4, 5, or 6. And now, if you are a new coach that is not in last season, then you might be wondering, well, how can I franchise Pokemon because I wasn't on a team last season? You can franchise any Pokemon that either was a free agent last season or was on a team that is not coming back. So, for example, Riz was in the MPL last season, but no longer is. So he had like a Latios. So for example, if you're one of the new coaches like Pat or Asteroid, you could franchise that Latios or his Azumarill. Now it doesn't have to be one of Riz's Pokemon. I'm just using him as an example, but hopefully you get the point from that. So any Pokemon that was on your team last season, you can franchise. Well, it can't be tier 4, 5, or 6. So any Pokemon tier 1, 2, or 3, you could. And if you do franchise that Pokemon, so for example, let's say I franchise my Weavile. I doubt I'm going to, but I'm just saying. So if, then that would count my round 1 slot. So it's essentially saying, so instead of like risking that Mystic, Cypher, Blizz, or Patrick would get that Weavile, I want to make sure I get it, so I'm going to do it prior to the draft, get the Weavile, take that 50 extra points. So instead of this pick being free, it costs 50 points. So that's what that is. That's just explaining franchising. Hopefully you guys understand franchising or understand all the other rules. If not, you can comment, or you can like message me, or just like the MPL on Twitter. I will get back to you, or someone will. So hopefully you guys understand the rules. And I'm really excited for this season. I did not expect this video. I'm not trying to make this video as long as it is, but it is what it is. So whatever. But hopefully you guys are excited for the season. I know I am. So draft starts. Oh, I really should have said this earlier. Wow. Okay. But say it now. Draft starts Friday, May 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 12 p.m. aka noon. Pacific Standard Time. That is 8 p.m. for those Brits. It's 2 p.m. for Central Standard Time. And any other time zone that you need, you can just go to Google, search. All right, what time would it be in my time zone if it's 3 p.m. EST? You can just search that. Google can be your friend and help you. So hopefully you guys are excited for the draft. I know I've already said this. This video is really long. It's for how long I want it to be. It's pretty long, but hopefully you guys understand the rules. Again, if you have any questions, message me. I got you. I got you, fam. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to MPL, subscribe to, I don't know, me. Sure. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys. But I don't know if I will, but I will if you sub to me. Just get excited for MPL season. This will be hype. This will be amazing. This will be legendary. Let's go.